Joining us now, and maybe we'll ask this question to our next guest, Trent Plaisted, former BYU Cougar, joining us on the Desert First Credit Union hotline. Hello, Trent. How are you?
I'm good, guys. How about yourself?
We're doing pretty good. I found out that you and Bryant are neighbors. You guys live in the same community.
Yeah, man. Me and Brian are boys. We all live out there, out by the Steep Ridge Golf Course. So,
Yeah, man.
unfortunately, I don't golf. Ironically enough,
Yeah,
but
I don't play a lot of golf, but his wife and my wife are good friends, and they have a beautiful daughter. And I've never talked to Trent about this, but maybe we can make some arrangements for my son and your and your daughter. I'm just trying to get at least my I'm trying to break.
Are we arranging a marriage on this show right now?
This is important, guys, for somebody who's small and short. I'm just trying to break the genes. And Trent, I know that your daughter is going to be taller than my son, which is fine. But I'm just thinking about my great grandkids and being able to break the cycle. So that's my offer.
That's right. Well, listen, my daughter is huge. I mean, she is a big girl. Like, they did her percentiles and stuff, and she's off the charts and everything. So she definitely takes after her daddy in that way. So that might be something.
Perfect.
That might be something to consider. But I'll have to make sure to run that one by my wife before I start doing this, making these arrangements on the air.
You're right. It's all right, man. We'll
it's
talk
not a binding
offline.
contract, Trent. Don't worry about it. It's perfect.
It's brainstorming, whiteboarding right now.
All right, so I want to ask you, Trent, we'll ask you the question. Who do you think is BYU's greatest success story? There are so many things that you can look at to determine success, but there are a lot of different options. Where would you go with that question?
I mean, for me personally, I just kind of, I would say Steve Young. It would be my guy. Me personally, but there are so many, and you can take it so many different ways. But I mean, and maybe I'm biased because when I was a little kid, I idolized Steve Young, and I read the autobiography. I mean, so I know his story more in depth than some of the others. But he seemed to come out of nowhere, and obviously his NFL career he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, how much more successful can you be than that?
Right.
So
right, exactly. Some other guys that had some good success this year, who was named first team, Yoeli and Eli. Very consistent. We talked about it earlier in the show, and the hard work, dedication paying off. What have you seen from Yoeli and Eli this year that has allowed them to make it to this position that they're in now?
Well, they're both very talented, and I've been around them a little bit. I don't want to be one of those guys that starts claiming that I know them great, but I've been around them, and they both work hard. They both got in the gym over the summer. I've talked to some people on the staff, and I know Yoeli worked hard to improve his game, and Eli, to come back from his situation with his knee, has been tremendous the entire year, and he's been healthy the entire year, which is maybe a success story in and of itself. And so they've just been the model of consistency night in and night out, and they've taken their opportunity and ran with it. And that's all you can really ask of somebody in that situation, because they were going to be given that opportunity to begin the year, and they just have ran with it to the fullest extent.
Trent, what is this time of year like for the players? You've just gone through a grueling 3+ month season, and now you're getting ready for the conference tourneys.
Oh man, it's exciting. I mean, they should be nothing but excited. I mean, it's got all the anticipation. It's almost like you're starting over. I mean, it's not almost. You are. I mean, the nerves and the feelings they probably had for the first game of the year are the same things they're probably going to have for the first game of this conference tournament. You're playing for your life. If you lose, it's over, and you're kind of towards the end of your year. All the work you put in just kind of culminated to this point. And so I just hope they go out there and they play loose and free with no expectations, even though they're probably feeling some. But I hope they're excited and I'm just ready to get after it.
Trent, how do you prepare? When you were playing to transition into the conference tournament, and what do you think that BYU needs to do to prepare? Transitioning from this past season to Saturday play.
Well, I remember when I was there, Coach Rose was always really good about saying this. He said, listen, you just got to win the first game. I mean, and that's really, it's very cliche, and I know people, are probably going to get, it's not the most sexy answer you could probably say, but without the first game, there is no second game. So right now, they're not preparing for the semifinal matchup with, I think their potential semifinal matchup would be with St. Mary's, right?
Yep.
And so they shouldn't even be thinking about that. Right now, it's all about San Diego, and let's approach the St. Mary's hurdle when we get to it. So hopefully they have that approach and they're just focusing on that. I'm sure Coach Rose and the staff is going to have them prepared for that game, and then assuming they get over that hurdle, which I really hope they do, and I believe they can, then they'll tackle the St. Mary's obstacle, which is going to be another monumental task if they get there.
You know, and sometimes, Trent, the first game of the tournament can always be the hardest one. Why do you think that is sometimes?
Well, yeah, because like I said, you have all these nerves. You have so much of this anticipation leading up to it. You don't really know what to expect because just like with you having a new beginning, the other team has a new beginning. So it's almost like you don't know what to expect out of the other team because they have a fresh start as well. So it's kind of about who handles it the best. Obviously, talent plays a huge role, but San Diego's going to be coming into this thing thinking, hey, this is our fresh start too. We have a chance to do something special. We just beat BYU, not 2 weeks ago. So they're going to be riding a wave of confidence as well. So you kind of don't know what to expect, and the ball tips, and basketball is a crazy game, but that's why people love watching sports because crazy things happen, amazing happen. If the predicted result was the outcome every time, it wouldn't be very fun to watch sports, and that's what tournament play is all about.
Trent, so when you play a team twice, it's definitely can help you out, right? As far as, what you've learned, being able to strategize, make adjustments, the following game. But when you got to play a team for the third time, how much more complicated or maybe easier does that make for you?
Well, I think it's hard to beat a team 3 times, first of all. But at the same time, when you play a team 3 times, you really know what they're about, hopefully. I mean, they're going to be having a new wave of confidence and things like that, but the personnel is still the same. Their plays are still the same. So I think tournament play is such a mental obstacle. It's not as much about preparation because you know these teams. You've played them twice already. It's more about who mentally handles it the best. And sometimes when you're a team that's blown a team out twice, you play them that third time and maybe a little lackadaisical. You don't handle it mentally well. And maybe when you have gotten blown out twice, you're scared of that. I mean, there's so many mental things that come into play. And this first-round match that they have with San Diego is kind of interesting because they just played them not long ago, and it wasn't the best result. But I was at the game where BYU beat them pretty handily at the Marriott Center. So, I mean, who knows what the mental makeup of both teams is going to be leading into this first game? That'll be a big storyline for me.
Trent, great stuff. We always appreciate you jumping on, and now I know that that both of you live on a golf course, and neither one of you are golfers. So that's always interesting.
Hey, listen, when you're 7 foot tall, it's hard to find clubs that fit. That's what I blame it on.
Hey, yeah, when you're 5'6", it's hard to find clubs as well.
That's right.
That's right.
Trent, great stuff. Appreciate the time. Thanks as always.